Hello there, Sarah from 17 once again. This is more Bad Business content, and in today's video I am showcasing the Icicle Launcher, or as I like to call it, the Forrest Gump gun, because, quite apropos, you never know what you're going to get. So, statistically, this weapon is monstrous. This weapon is capable of doing over 100 damage to a body shot, and it has 20 rounds in its magazine, or its cartridge, or its canister, whatever that is, and it fires rather quickly, all considered. So on paper you may look at this gun and think this is the most overpowered and broken gun in the game, and it is. However, in practice, it doesn't work the same. So, this is a burst weapon. You might not realise that, but it actually fires a cluster of icicles, and you just saw them then as I hit that rail. And the problem with this is, it's not a single projectile, so the damage is not delivered evenly. So this gun actually plays a hell of a lot closer to a shotgun than it does any other gun. It is kind of a shotgun rifle. It's closer to perhaps a slug, if there were slugs in this game, where you can do things at range with this weapon, and if you get lucky spreads of icicles, you can do monstrous damage. But if you know anything about RNG and clustering and multiple projectiles hitting in random spread, you never get consistent spreads, unless there's some kind of crazy good attachment that lets you do that. And I got this gun because somebody was killing me with it in an arena game, and it made me remember it was in the game. I was like, oh yeah, that crazy icicle thing that everybody said was broken, that no one uses. So I had credits, I picked it up. I buy all my guns with credits, guys. When the new passes come out, I'm going to buy them with actual money, and that's just because I want to give Ethan and his team some money. I have had so much enjoyment from this game. I'm trying to spread it with my community, even though my community looks at Roblox like a joke and they don't respect it, which is unfortunate. So I'm actually going to buy those passes when the new ones come out, just purely to try and put something back into the game. Because I honestly think that Bad Business is the Roblox equivalent of Titanfall 2. And that's a conversation for another time, but it's the patch notes on that, or the footnote, sorry, to kind of speed through that is, I don't know why Bad Business isn't more popular. It has absolutely nothing to do with the quality of this game, and everything to do with the perception of it, and perhaps the perception of Roblox in general. But this is the Icicle Launcher, and I picked it up with the credits, as I said, and I started leveling it up, and I would have a really fun game, a really bad game, a really weird game, a really aggressive game, a really angry game, like a really silly game. Like, it was all over the place. It was a clown shoe of a weapon. And it's really good. It's really good until it needs to be really good, and then it's really bad. And I can't recommend it. I really can't, because all I could think of when I was using this is if I was using anything else, I'd be doing better. But you've got to give them props, you know. It's a Christmas weapon. It's a goofy special weapon. And one of the things that was really nice about it when I was using it is it has a stock that increases mobility, which is my favourite stat in the game at the moment, mobility. And this is before the changes happened with mobility. So you could feel really fast with this gun. He's using another special weapon as well. He's using the ray gun, which I haven't used that one yet. I still have to purchase a lot of the special weapons before I test them. But what I also want to talk about, because I can't really say too much about this gun other than, if you're good at aiming and you get lucky, you will be a monster with this. But if both of those things don't go your way, you're going to get frustrated. But the closer you are, the better it is as well, because it can be really nasty up close. So Bad Business recently had its range changes. They changed the game fundamentally at how the guns work at distance. They also changed the mobility and the handling to slow the game down in many ways and make the weapon classes a bit more distinguished. So if you know anything about Bad Business, you'll know that all the guns kind of feel very comparable to each other, because none of them have different mobility except for the LMGs, and everything's kind of really close and really core to the experience. And that core experience is guns are fast, they have good hip fire, they're decent at distance, but the snipers reign supreme. So they went in and they overhauled that, and I think overall my impressions, having played a week of the new change, I think the update itself is good for the game, but it's not what I want. One of the things I love about Bad Business is how fast it is, and one of the failings, I think, of the attachment system at the moment is there aren't many attachments that let you focus on mobility. The biggest one, obviously, is lightweight, but lightweight is held hostage by ludicrous gun grinds on nearly every weapon you use it on, and I don't understand why lightweight isn't easy to unlock on slow guns and hard to unlock on fast guns, because to me, that is a balance that writes itself. LMGs, the third thing you unlock should be lightweight to make them a little bit better. You could make it level 10, nothing crazy, right? But instead it's like level 50, level 44, level 52 or something. And then on a submachine gun, which is already very fast by default, it should be hard to unlock, because the submachine gun doesn't need it. But mobility is such a difficult stat to focus on outside of very specific weapons, so that for them to go in and change the mobility on all the weapons, it's really hard to get back the old speed. And I like speedy games, I like moving fast. I got used to 105 speed, because I really like being quick in this game, it's very advantageous. But the developers don't want the game to be 105 speed the whole time. This is a very difficult game to aim in. This is a very skillful game because of that, so when everybody moves so quickly, the average person can't keep up. So by limiting the mobility, they make it a lot more accessible for the player that doesn't excel at the high-speed gameplay, and they bridge that gap between the super high-flying players and the super slow-moving players, and they make a game that is of a more realistic speed in the expectations of what the player has to do. And you can still go fast, but you can't quite go as fast. And I'm hoping, because the mobility nerf has been quite big in some areas, I'm hoping that attachments will come out that will give you different penalties and enable your speed to be better. I would love to see a cluster of attachments for more mobility with interesting cons on them that would enable players to get the old speed back. Because as it stands, it's just kind of... it's really difficult to get back to where you were, especially if you want to use a lot of bullets. It hurts a player like me the most, fundamentally, because I like to do 50 drum mags, and I like to be fast, and the 50-60 round mags slow you down, and the movement speed slows you down even more, so now I can't get back to where I was. And it's healthy for the game, but it's not healthy for what I love.